Hello friends, welcome back to Mains Answer Writing Basics program being conducted by Team India for IAS. This is Manjunath Mudod. In this video, we are going to discuss answer approach to the date 33 question. The subject for date 33 is polity. So within polity, the topic is fundamental rights. So the questions are based on article 25 to 28. So these articles, they talk about right to freedom of religion enshrined in the Indian Constitution. So this topic, it is important for both prelims and mains. These articles, article 25 to 28, they are important for both prelims and mains. The question that we are going to discuss, it is also important for both UPSC mains 2024 and also upcoming KAS mains 2025. So day 33 question nododadre. The question for day 33 is as follows. The right to freedom of religion is enshrined in the Constitution of India, Article 25 to 28. Analyze how these fundamental rights balances individual freedoms with public order and morality. So the question is asking about the analysis of the fundamental rights and the reasonable restrictions that are imposed on these fundamental rights. So then the question is also asking, discuss the limitations imposed on these rights and evaluate their implications for diverse religious landscape in India. So the question has two parts. In the first part, it is asking about the analysis of the fundamental rights and their reasonable restrictions. And in the second part, it is asking about the limitations or reasonable restrictions imposed on those rights and their implications on the diverse religious landscape in India. So the question is for 15 marks and word limit is 250 words. Coming to the answer approach to the question that we have discussed. So we have to begin answer by writing an introduction. So introduction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರೀಬಹುದು? The right to freedom of religion is enshrined in part 3 of the Indian Constitution. So it is mentioned in part 3 of the Indian Constitution between article 25 to 38. So this will be the good introduction. So next part ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ then we should write these rights they ensure right to freedom of religion to all citizens in India. So after writing introduction, we should write the constitutional provisions with respect to Article 25 to 38, that is right to freedom of religion. So coming to Article 25, this Article 25, it guarantees the freedom of conscience and right to profess, practice and propagate religion. So we have to talk about the provisions of the Article 25 and also we should write the reasonable restrictions that are imposed on this right, that is public order, morality and health. So after writing about Article 25, we should write about Article 26. So this Article 26, it grants every religious denomination the right to establish and maintain public institutions for religious and charitable purposes. And it also enables these religious and charitable institutions to manage its own affairs in matters of religion and ownership of property. So that is about Article 26. Next, we should write about Article 27. In the Article 27, we should write the provisions like this Article 27, it ensures that no person shall be compelled to pay taxes for the promotion or maintenance of any religion. After writing Article 27, we should switch to Article 28, the constitutional provisions of Article 28. So this Article 28, it prohibits religious instruction in government educational institutions funded by the state. So if any institute, whether it is government or whether that institute is funded by state, in such institutions, there should not be any religious instruction, except in institutions which are established by religious denominations for their own community. So far, we have discussed the first part of the question, that is Article 25 to 28 and its constitutional provisions. Next, we should switch to answering the limitations or reasonable restrictions imposed on these rights, because the question is asking about analyzing the fundamental rights, that is right to freedom of religion, how these rights balances individual freedoms with public order and morality. Since public order and morality are limitations or reasonable restrictions that are being imposed on right to freedom of religion, we should explain how these limitations can be imposed with some Supreme Court judgments. So balancing the fundamental rights and public order and morality. The right to freedom of religion, which is enshrined in the Constitution, it has to be balanced with other societal interests through the limitations which are prescribed in the same rights, that is same articles, that is article 25 and 26. For instance, the public order, health and morality can limit religious practices if the said rights, if they come in conflict with the public order, health and morality. Such rights can be put under reasonable restrictions. So this we can write with the help of the SR Bommai versus Union of India Supreme Court judgments. So in Supreme Court judgments in SR Bommai versus Union of India, the Supreme Court said that religious practices which disturb the public order or public peace or which incite violence, that can be restricted. So in this judgment, the Supreme Court emphasized that state can impose restrictions to maintain public order on right to freedom of religion. So then coming to health and morality, Supreme Court in the judgment, that is the state of Andhra Pradesh versus LM Reddy in the year 1992, Supreme Court said that practices which harm public health and morality can be restricted or regulated. So, in the said judgment, the Supreme Court said that regulation of animal sacrifices, and it upheld the restrictions which are imposed to prevent the cruelty to animals. So, this completes the answer to the first part of the question. So, in the second part of the question is asking about the limitations and reasonable restrictions vis-a-vis diverse religious landscape in India. It means what are the utilities of the limitations and reasonable restrictions in a society like India where there are different religions or diverse religions. The right to freedom of religion, it enables diverse communities to practice their faith freely and it fosters the pluralism. However, if these rights, if they are absolute, they can lead to tensions because some religious practices, they may come in conflict or they may clash with the public order and moral standards which are prevailing in the society. This may disturb the communal harmony in the society. It can create communal conflicts. So in order to avoid such communal conflicts, there should be a reasonable restrictions and limitation on such rights. So in order to maintain public order and morality, the constitution makers has provided reasonable restrictions on the said rights, and the Supreme Court also upheld the such reasonable restrictions in various judgments such as SR Bommai case, Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala case. These points, this addresses the second part of the question. After addressing both first part and second part, we should write the conclusion. So in conclusion, we should emphasize the significance of the right to freedom of religion in India in order to maintain the India's democratic fabric and also maintaining the communal harmony in the society. So this can be a good conclusion. So this is all about the approach to the question that we have discussed, that is right to freedom of religion. So you should come up with your answer which should include all these points. Along with this, if you have any other points which are relevant, you can write those points also. So write the answer to this question and get it evaluated by your mentors. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video, that is day 34 question answer approach. Till then, happy answer writing.